Well, family, today is actually Monday. I think today's the 20 something, 21st maybe. And I also, when I am not working my full-time job, my work from home position, I side hustle with Uber. I do Uber Eats and Uber Rides. I try not to do the Uber Rides during the nighttime. People get crazy. And but I don't really have a problem with the Uber Eats. The Uber Eats is pretty simple. And like I said, I just do it part-time. I guess this is considered part-time, being that I still have a full-time gig. But I always meet some interesting people. I just dropped a guy off at the airport, headed to God knows where. I didn't even ask him. Sometimes they get in the car and they're extremely talkative, and I have no problems with matching your conversation. So if you want to talk, hey, let's talk. If you don't want to talk, no big deal. I don't have a problem with sitting here quietly. I don't really play music, so to speak. I'll find like a chill station on Apple Music, and I'll just kind of put that on somewhat softly, and that way it's not too hip-hop-ish, and it's not too sexual, and it's not too, hit me baby one more time. So I mean, it works, it's cool or whatever. I hate that I, have to do this, to be honest with you. I kind of feel like in working a full-time job, most people aspire to make enough money to where... Sorry, guys, I ended up having to push pause because I'm actually still on Uber at this time. But I think you guys understand what it is I was trying to say, that most people aspire to where if you have a full-time job, you don't necessarily have to continue to work a side hustle or anything like that. But I also understand we have to do what we have to do in order to, pay the bills and make ends meet. But okay, back to the regular schedule program. Okay, America. Everybody always asks me, what you be doing while you be Ubering? Well, first of all, I do Uber Eats so I can bring dumb people with me like this nigga.
Hi. I'm not dumb.
And then we get stuck in traffic because in the city of San Antonio, they decide that they have to shut down the entire highway and make everybody use the access road. So when it be taking much longer than normal for you to get your food, don't be upset with the Uber drivers. Don't be trying to take it out and not tip us, because it ain't our fault that the city's stupid.
You better fucking tell.
Thank you for your cooperation. Yours truly, Uber Eats. What's up, guys? So I decided I wasn't feeling my best, or kind of been in my emotions lately in regards to some of the things that I've been dealing with in the last year now. So when I get in my feelings, I try to get outside. So I'm gonna take the pup for a walk. This way, come on. And I figure I'd just take y'all with us. Here we go. Okay, guys, so the truth about what's really been going on with me is my last video, we left off with, what was I going to do about my apartment situation, because I needed to move and they were gonna put me out and all this other stuff. Well, I told you guys don't be too stressed about it because I worked it out. Well, I didn't work it out. He worked it out. Universe worked it out. Whatever it is that you believe in working it out, it worked it out. Things, happen to just kind of fall into place. I was never really concerned. Maybe a little bit. I can't lie. I'm not even going to try to pretend like I wasn't a little stressed about it, because I was. But ultimately, things worked out. I ended up finding an apartment, actually one that's much bigger than the one that I was in, at a much more affordable rate. And so I was able to pack up my things and move. So that's what happened. That took place in like February, was that time of 2023. shortly thereafter, moving into my apartment, my maternal grandmother unfortunately passed away. And so I went home to be with family and assist with, her final arrangements, to say our proper goodbyes. And so I packed with the anticipation of going home for maybe a week, possibly two at the most. And that ultimately turned into a year and like a year, maybe 3 months. And so life as I knew it just was totally flipped upside down. I was not, not in any position to plan on being at home for such a period of time. But, there I was at home, trying to assist. And oh boy, was there a lot to assist with. My grandmother wanted to be cremated. That wasn't an issue. Take this with caution, or take this in preparation, or take this in, as me just sharing my experience. Again, this is from my point of view. Do what you can if you have assets, houses, cars, stashes of money, furniture, family heirlooms, whatever it is that you think may not be valuable to you now while you still have breath in your body. Please look into setting up some sort of a will, or even if you don't even have the means to do a proper will, sit down and write out something. I, in my good right mind, on this day of whatever, and list out whatever it is you got left, and let people know, and write down what it is that you want. Because you best believe the moment your head grow cold, baby, whatever your remaining family members is, if you have not done this and, took the proper channels, baby, we're digging through all your stuff. We're going through all of it. Because that's exactly what I hate to laugh about it. But, that's just the nature of the beast. Like, you don't think about life without you, after you, but it definitely makes it a lot easier if these sort of things are taken care of. And I say that with the exposure of, again, from my point of view, death is I don't even really have the words for what death is. Like, of course I know what it is. It's the ending of a life. But the emotions that come behind it once you are gone are unexplainable. I never would have thought that some of my family members would react the way that they've reacted. I never thought that I would see so much growth in other family members in the time frame that I was home. So, like I say, it definitely can go both ways. I understand now why those sort of things are so important, to help keep down on the confusion of what we are supposed to do as your left ones left over. That's crazy. But that's where I've been. That's what I've been working with, being exposed with. My family is not one for counseling, so to speak. So I've been, dealing with this as best as I can with the resources that I have, and just kind of dealing with it. My grandmother lives in a very rural area of the country out in Georgia, and leaving where I live here in somewhat a major city, San Antonio, um, life is different. I did not drive home, so I was at the mercy of possibly having leftover transportation or, depending on other loved ones to pick me up. So it left me kind of confined in the house. I wasn't nearly as active as I was um, at home. There was no tennis. A lot of just being in the house. With this extra time, though, I figured I would keep myself busy by being, active with the family, because I've been in Texas, removed from my Georgia family for 10 whole years now. I realized I moved to Texas in 2014, and here it is now in 2024. And I try to go home when I can, but I'm not one of those that's like, at home once every 3 or 4 months. That is something that, I will try to get to at one point, but as of now, that's just not where I am in my life. So in the process of being at home and dealing with that, I also experienced the loss of my paternal grandmother, my dad's mom, and I lost a great aunt in this process. In that time frame, I also lost my father, and so yeah, it's been a lot, you guys. I didn't want to necessarily start my quote unquote vlogging journey with just masses and masses of confusion, messiness, family fights, overwhelming feelings. Like it was not a good time. And I hid a lot of how I was feeling about the situation away from my family, because I didn't want to necessarily make the situation any more heavier than what it already was. To my family members that know these people that I am speaking of, if I offended you with any of my actions while I was home by cleaning out grandma's house, moving stuff, getting rid of stuff, feeling like you felt like I came home and just took over, or whatever your feelings may be, my apologies. Take this as my bad. I think, again, with grief, we all handle it differently. Some, sit back and cry and just don't do nothing. Others don't know how to express themselves, so the best thing they know is frustration and fear, and it's sadness is really what it is. And then you have others that become busybodies, and I found myself in the busybody category, because I know that, like, yes, they are gone, but there is still life to be lived. We must do what we can to honor those that have passed on. Take the lessons that they have taught us, the good times, the conversations, and treasure them where you may, whether that may be, just photos, or whether it may be dishes, or whether it may be whatever it is. That's why I think it's important when families pass like that. The absolute last thing that we need is to stop communicating with one another. That's definitely normally the number one downfall as to why things go left when people pass away, is because people stop talking. And I don't know why we do that, but for whatever reason we do, and it leads to nowhere extremely fast. And then before you know it, a whole year has gone by and nothing has been done. And whose fault is that? So I know this probably seems like I'm just ranting, but like I said, I was terribly in my feelings today. Shortly thereafter, I got back home, spent a few months. They called me again. I had to go back to Georgia to bury my aunt, who we lost tragically, unexpectedly. And I am struggling to deal with her death. Like, for whatever reasons, the others I'm seeming to be able to kind of swallow and not necessarily move past, but continue to live through. But this one is taking me a moment to really, I don't know, because I understand it, like I get it, she's gone, there's no coming back. But my mouth is saying that, my mind understands that, but my heart and soul is just confused, crushed, like, what do you mean? And I think I'm running from the emotions to really be able to tap into that, because I know just on the other side of that emotions of her lies my father, my grandmother, my great aunt Helen, who we all literally lost in that time frame of, what is that, 13, 14 months. And these were, pillars in my life. Like, I mean, anchors, serious anchors in my life. Development of who I am as a man today were shaped by these people as a young child. So I didn't necessarily want to get emotion on camera, but I definitely wanted to express kind of like how I've been feeling and where I am. It's easy to surround myself with friends and put a smile on and laugh and kiki, but sometimes, guys, my heart is heavy. It is heavy. And so the way that I want to be able to get some of this off of my chest and express is be able to just kind of talk about it on camera. You may not always necessarily see me in front of the camera, but you'll definitely, like I say, it'll be a little bit more interactive. I'm like I say, try to stay creative in expressing myself and also giving you guys good visual. So thank you again for listening to this particular rant. I shall see you guys or talk to you guys soon again.